Call the meeting to order at approximately 4:38 or 4:33, I should say. Would you want to do a roll call?
Sure. Sheila Conroy. Here. Catherine Cox. Here. Michael Gilfrey.
Here.
Caitlin Keenan.
Here.
Tom Kurtz.
Here.
Bob Lee.
Here.
Linda Bushbaum.
Here.
City Council Liaison Susan Bedell-Fari.
Here.
And absent is Callie Cordova. You have a quorum.
Okay. Well, we have everybody. So, I don't think there's anybody from the public here tonight that's not involved with the advisory board, so I guess there's nothing to be heard. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? Which Joanne captured miraculously everything that was said, all those, I think, and more maybe. Would somebody like to?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the August 20th meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you, Bob. Is there a second?
Yep.
Oh. Catherine, okay. All right, anybody have any comments they'd like to make before we act on them? All right.
I do. I have one quick question. What was the planning retreat? I didn't hear about that.
We weren't here.
I wasn't here, yeah.
That was, it was primarily staff. Callie represented the advisory board
Okay.
at the planning retreat. Yeah, I'll talk a little more about that in the director's report.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes. Report from the director.
All right. So as you can see, we are well in construction. Things are still pretty close to on schedule. Should be starting to go vertical maybe the end of this month, start of next month. After the meeting, we can adjourn and I can take you up to the third floor. It's got a good view of kind of the footprint of the building, can point out where different things will be and get a sense of what is going on. Sunset Soiree was one of our big events that concluded a couple of weeks ago. We're delighted that we met our goal. We had a goal of $150,000 to basically complete the funding for construction of the exhibits within what we also announced at the soiree will be Lila's Children's Gallery. So we completed that funding, and our exhibits team is now hard at work planning and starting to build the exhibits that will be going in that gallery. And that's, the exhibitions update is pretty much all focused and will be for the next year on construction of exhibits. The name of the exhibit is the Dream Lab. So it'll be the Dream Lab in Lila's Children's Gallery. If you came to the soiree, you saw some of the prototypes that they are developing. Light, sound, there was a blower scarf interactive where you put in a scarf and it went through all these tubes and then shot out the other side. So I think there's going to be a lot of really fun activities, and we're also really pleased to have a new staff member, Jackie Hobbins from the WOW Children's Museum, and she's contributed a lot of expertise on kind of what kids really are engaged with. So we're delighted to have her on staff now.
Collection.
Talk
underway and we've now completed the 2 Lanyon Park tours. Because we didn't have any reservations for those and they were completely free, we didn't know how many were going to attend. The first one had 15, and then this week we had 28.
Wow, that's great.
They must have heard how great they were.
Yeah,
First
we did
one.
have some amazing weather
Yeah.
on Monday or Tuesday. I can't
Tuesday.
remember what day it is
Tuesday.
anymore. I also attended, along with Eric, the conference of the American Association of State and Local History, which was fun. It's in Cincinnati. And then the big thing is this week started repair work on the roof at the MCC. They're going to work in chunks, so basically removing roof and then putting new roof in. So, and it looks like there's going to be rain. They cancel. So today they canceled because they haven't made the rain. So it is a big project, and Eileen is doing a great job coordinating, covering everything in plastic and moving objects. So kudos to Eileen.
You probably told us before, is it a rubber roof or what kind of roof does it have?
Yeah, it's called EPDM. That's a membrane roof, and so yeah, it's being replaced. And the matter is in litigation, so I can't really talk a lot about it in the meeting. But the nice thing is that we will hopefully have a new roof by middle of November or so. And under education, so our programs, education programs, auditorium programs all started up back in September. So we have our full slate of programs again, Discovery Days. We started a new program called After School Music for upper elementary school kids. We're trying some experimenting of different programs. That one is starting out kind of slow, so we may need to rethink kind of how we're marketing it, things like that. But we like to try different things, see if they work out. We'll give it probably a year of seeing how that program develops, and if it's growing, we'll keep going, and if not, we'll try a different angle on it. And then the big effort right now is Day of the Dead, which will happen on October 11th. In downtown Longmont. There's a lot going on. Certainly there's lots of opportunities to volunteer if you are interested in helping out with that event. And you can reach out to Courtney Pletcher, our volunteer coordinator. If you need Courtney's information, let me know. And she can connect you up with all the different places that we need volunteers for that event.
Are they doing the altars this year?
We won't be doing altars here at the museum. There'll
But
be
at
some at the firehouse.
Firehouse, okay.
Because our atrium is now also our
Yeah.
lobby. It just
Yes.
didn't work
So
out to do
much.
altars in that space this year. Art in public places. There's a lot of different projects going on in art in public places, including shock art, which is the painting of the electric boxes. They also are just finishing up what they call History Under Wraps, which is wrapping the traffic boxes with historic photos. They just installed one at Maine and Quail. It's a historic photo of a train. So they try and kind of match them to some of the sites around town. So those are a fun relatively new project that's going on. And then they'll be starting a new project of bus shelters with art on them to help with cooling off. People standing in the hot sun now can stand in the shade of the bus shelter. It's calling Cool Shelter, I believe is the name of that project. Auditorium, as mentioned, August is usually pretty quiet. We do have a new public programs assistant, Megan Adams. we're developing this pattern of having 2 people on staff with the same name. We have 2 Elizabeths, 2 Megans, and 2 Allies. So,
But only one Eric.
yeah, only one Eric so far. But we had our first auditorium program last Thursday. It was shorts from the Boulder International Film Festival, and that was basically a sold-out performance. So things are picking up in the auditorium in September. Development, I've already mentioned the Sunset Soiree, great success there. Visitor services is a little odd since our galleries are closed. It looks very quiet right now, but we will continue to. Ticket sales will pick up again soon. And interestingly enough, even though we are closed, we're still selling things in the gift shop. Folks are coming in, so that's cool.
And memberships too.
Yep, and folks are continuing to renew or join, which is wonderful. Because members still get discounts on programs, early registration opportunities for both programs and camps, and then a lot of folks, join just to support the museum, which is great. Marketing, definitely continuing to promote the fact that we are still having programs in the museum. We know that some people see construction fences and they're like, oh, no, must not be anything going on. But we still have a pretty full slate of programs. So spread the word. The museum is not closed. Just our galleries are closed right now. And then for volunteer and evaluation, one of the questions from a previous meeting related to the 2025 annual survey of museum goers. So shared this infographic from that survey. It's quite a comprehensive survey. There's a lot more information, but these are kind of some of the things that were pulled out to highlight. So one that I will highlight is the visitation rate per year. If you see that those red dots on the right, frequent museum goers, so that's for museum goers from all across the country. They surveyed over 200 museums across the country, almost 100,000 people participating in the survey. People visiting the museum 4 or more times. Most museums, that is 28% of the respondents, because the folks that respond to these surveys tend to be members, regular visitors, things like that. So it's much higher than your typical member of the general public. The Longmont Museum is even higher than that. We have 35% of the folks that responded visited 4 or more times a year, and another 35% visited 2 or 3 times. So Susie Wilkening, who is the guru behind this, says, people really love coming to the Longmont Museum. Another element that I think is interesting is that we see a little higher than average under why they visit, a little higher than average numbers on learning experiences for me and for my children, also higher on my children enjoy it. So folks, and then one that didn't make it onto this infographic, but that I think is really indicative of the how people view the value of the museum, is that the museum scores about 5 percentage points higher than other museums across the country on contributing to the quality of life in my community. In fact, Susie said, wow, that's one of the highest numbers for quality of life I've seen in any museum across the country. So I think that's some really good feedback of what people are wanting, and then one of the things that people consistently report, again, doesn't appear in this infographic, but they want to see the exhibits, they want to see more exhibits, they want to see the exhibits changing more frequently. So that's one of the reasons we're doing this expansion, is so we have the opportunity to do more exhibits and hopefully have them change more frequently. So, we're definitely basing what we're doing very much on the feedback we get from our audience.
But it's still old people that go to museums.
It is, we do see that. And that is also a little bit skewed in terms of this is who is responding to the survey. So we know from just our audience data of the attendees to our Discovery Days program that that's over 10,000 people a year. So about a sixth of our total audience are people coming for Discovery Days Early Childhood program. They just don't happen to be filling out surveys because they're maybe too busy to be doing that. So the folks that are filling out the survey do tend to skew older and skew pretty heavily female as well. That's just tends to be what happens in surveys. Other questions about the director's report or the annual survey of museum goers?
What was the bit about the remediation for legacy artwork?
Oh yeah. So this is a.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that was a fun thing. So that artwork is on the front of the county building at 11th and Main Street. It's been there since the building was built. It's kind of integrated into the building, and if you're not familiar with it, it's a series of figures, not exactly stick figures, but kind of human figures, adults and children. And when the artist created it, and for many years thereafter, the figures were blue, standing out quite strongly from the concrete and the brick on the building. And one day Angela Brill, our Public Places Administrator, was driving by and she was like, wait a second, those are gray. What the heck happened? And the county, apparently unbeknownst to us, for a number of years has been repainting it blue, which is not something they should be doing, and they got tired of painting it blue, so
They just took it upon
they
themselves.
took it upon themselves
Oh
to
my
paint it
God.
gray. And so we reached out and said,
You can't do that.
you can't do that. This is covered by an intergovernmental agreement. This is the museum's responsibility for any kind of major upkeep. If it's like dusting it off or knocking off cobwebs, yes, you can do that. But the
I can just imagine like Angela's reaction.
So,
What she
yeah.
done, how she
Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of meetings with various folks in the county, and they have agreed to repaint it blue, and from now on we will then be the ones responsible for any repainting going forward. So
I'm still trying to think where that is. I'm very interested.
it is on the east side of Main Street. The building faces south, and there's a kind of a big open field in front of it and a parking lot. I should have had the screen up and I could bring up.
Building,
Yeah, red brick.
nondescript kind of.
Not a terribly. The artwork is probably the most interesting thing about the building.
I'm having trouble. It's like a picture 9 with the lucrative scanning.
Is it on the north side?
It's the hidden corner from the cemetery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be. So it's where the court, the county court. Here in, it's on the 9th, near 9th
I think
and.
everything between 9th and 17th is just a blur in my
Yeah.
It's,
This
yes, yes. So,
It's very tiny. When I open it, it kind of disappears.
Can't see that.
With little people.
yeah.
So just for fun, when we have to repaint it in the year, you'll go with a different color.
You know, it's one of these things when, you know, when that happens, it's a big deal because we have to contact the artist and let them know. Usually it's like, I mean, if it's simple vandalism, we can just fix it. But this was like, well, it's not exactly vandalism. It's just a radical change to the appearance. And she was like, well, no, that's not what I wanted. Because, you know, she would have the opportunity to say, oh, I like it better in gray. But she did not. She was like, no, this, it's, you know, gray is kind of bland and blends in and doesn't, and no, I wanted it to stand out, so.
Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
Well, as we all drive by there tonight.
Yeah.
Right. If you're headed north on Main Street, take a look. And if it's blue, let us know because they're supposed to have it repainted by the end of October.
And why are they blue to start off with?
That was, you know, the color that the artist wanted. She wanted it to, you know, be, and it was a very specific blue that she chose, you know, to really, you know, stand out from the red brick and the kind of concrete that's there.
So there's Main Street School.
So it's 2 blocks north of that.
North of that, yes. So it's, yeah. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Boulder County Community Justice. So the courts. Trying to get to the.
Anybody have any other questions of Eric?
I do. So you mentioned that there were volunteer opportunities for the Day of the Dead event. Is that restricted in any way? Because I have students I might send. Does it have to be staff?
Doesn't have to be staff or, I think it has to be like over, I've forgotten what our lower limit, 14 maybe, so. But,
I will say, my students are college
probably,
so.
you know, unless you have like a genius who's, you know, moving. But yes, that would be lovely. Yeah, have them connect with Courtney. Because Day of the Dead is a bit of a one-off. We don't do as involved a volunteer onboarding process.
Right. Okay.
So it's a great opportunity to get in some volunteer hours and support a great cool event.
Anything else? Okay. Well, thanks, Eric, for the update. Report of the chair. Callie didn't leave any information or instructions, but I would like to thank Eric and his staff, as we've already discussed a little bit about the soiree, and Megan and her staff. It's an outstanding event and well attended, and you all got your full taken care of pretty quickly. I didn't time it, but it happened recently, and the auctioneer did a great job in coaxing people for sure.
Yep. We've already reserved her for next year.
And the only thing I noticed at my table, I had the fortune to be placed with a number of good people, but I noticed that as the temperature dropped, the wine consumption went up.
Oh, okay.
So plan that next year. Temperature drop.
It probably happened at the other tables too. But
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed.
Absolutely. I'm like,
Thank
yeah,
you
sleep
for-
the bottle here.
All outdoor events, especially if we're selling concessions, we need to have a temperature drop.
Yes. Yes, we've met our goal on concessions for the year. I think it was, between the summer concerts and, lots of thirsty people and then our other events.
Well, I think that helps with the paddle racing too.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
A few
yep.
glasses of wine.
Sure, a thousand.
I think next year they may put the numbers on the wine glasses.
Oh.
So thinking it's just gonna be refilled.
Yeah.
They actually donated $5,000.
Yes.
You have to go real fast. That's pretty fun.
Is there any unfinished business? I can't think of anything.
I'm not aware of any.
Any new business? Any comments from the board? Okay. Well, I hate to ask, but does anybody want to adjourn the meeting so that we can tour the construction from afar?
Well,
Thank you, Catherine.
I'll second.
Caitlin has seconded. All in favor? You. Nobody is opposed to anything? Great. Adjourned at 4:59.